All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to more 428 Shibuya Scramble. My name is Raven from the Sky, and let's do this. Okay, so since we got his ending, that stopped her from making the phone call. So we should not get any more bad endings. I'm gonna see still. Let's see. Let me see. Rising emotions. He kept his composure. We don't jump the Kano. We'll come here. We shouldn't get any more bad endings. That was a high and mighty act. I've already seen this I don't know how many times. I kept getting bad endings. Booyah! Yes, there we go. All right. So if we got a bad ending that time, I would have been just at a loss. Shucks. You know what I mean? Alfred, please. What are you thinking? That's how we got the what's the name? Oh! As he passed along the alphanumeric sequence, Kano kept his eyes on Palmer. The man stared back at him with an expression of bitter defeat. There was a long silence on the other end of the phone. Then at last, Osawa's excited voice came through. Yes! All right, boys, we're making progress. Woo, man, I'm telling you, all those bad endings, man. It opened. The lock opened. Kano let out a deep breath of utter relief. Palmer snorted. You really satisfied with catching me and saving the life of one girl? I suppose it's a Japanese way to forget the pain that's been visited upon you. But it's not over. The bloodshed will continue. All over the world, women, children, the elderly, innocent, all will bleed because absolute justice is on our side. Is that right? Kano drove his fist into Palmer's face. There was no such thing as absolute justice. It was that kind of blind faith that kept the world in conflict. Well, this sure is quite the mess. Whirling around in surprise, Kano saw Kuze standing there. Director Kuze! He bowed his head apologetically. He may have apprehended the criminal mastermind, but only because he ignored the direct order to place Maria under quarantine. I'm sorry, sir, but I... Save the apology, Kuze interrupted. You're the one who solved the case. You did good, kid. Once again, Kano bowed, this time even more deeply. Oh, and one more thing, Kano. Yes, sir. Sasayama has regained consciousness. I thought you'd like to know. Sasayama, they were able to save him. I got a call from the hospital. Looks like he's going to pull through. That's great. Really great news. Tears of relief came to Kano's eyes. If Osawa was able to get the lock at the lab open, he should also have been able to get Maria the antiviral without any further difficulty. Kano dragged Palmer to his feet and undid a handcuff from his own wrist, using it to properly bind his captive. The metal ring snapped shut with a soft, satisfying click. Palmer limply hung his head. It was over. It was all finally over. It really had been quite a day, Kano reflected. Beyond all the challenges he'd faced, he had come face to face with his own shortcomings. Now, he knew what a long way he had to go to be the man he wanted to be. But at least he'd learned what it truly meant to be a detective. Kuze was muttering to himself nearby. I mean, you don't even look alike, but the director shook his head and cleared his throat. You know, Kano, for a second there, you looked just like Tatino. Really? Kano smiled, fussing sheepishly with his hair. Kuze's words were the finest praise he could have asked for. Someday he hoped he really might be a detective like Tatino. No, he decided he would be. And until then, he never gave up on he'd never give up on that dream. It might be a long, long road, but he would walk it. Kano looked up to the sky. The neon lights of the city shone from all over. This was the same old Shibuya that it always was, but one that he looked at now with new eyes. Okay. Keep out, keep out, keep out. Only one left to do is Stanley. Indiscriminate terrorism. Maybe she had given the UA virus to the fake with the intent of releasing it. Yeah. She needed the police to keep their attention on the scramble for as long as it took her to destroy the research facility. The threat of unleashing the virus was the perfect way to do that. As Stanley mulled that over, he realized another way that a virus released in Shibuya could benefit her. Alfred had been careful to wipe out almost everyone she'd associated with in the past. That was precisely why all of her defining characteristics such as age and sex and nationality had been unknown. It was unthinkable that she'd allow this decoy, who almost certainly knew who she really was, to stay alive. Once the decoy released the virus, it was likely to become infected himself and die. Alfred would also want to get rid of Hitomi, who still had the antiviral in her body. The virus would therefore eliminate the decoy, who knew the terrorist's true identity, and Hitomi carrying the drug at the same time. Yeah, that's what her objective was. Wait, that can't be right. Something was wrong with this hypothesis. Releasing the virus wouldn't kill Hitomi. She'd been injected with the antiviral. Her body was full of antibodies that could fend off the UA virus. Being exposed to the virus again might cause her to develop a fever, but she almost certainly wouldn't die from it. Stanley had a hunch. He was onto something though. Surely Alfred would still want to eliminate the decoy and Hitomi in one fell swoop. What else would achieve the same end? Of course, a bomb. Beginning with her bombings in Chicago, Alfred had made frequent use of remote-controlled explosives. It was likely that she'd opt for something similar here as well. But she wasn't going to be at the scramble herself. So how in the world was she going to trigger the explosion? Was there some clue to be found in something she said or done earlier? Yeah, the phone. Yep, think. I've seen this already. It's the phone. That was it. Bomb was set to detonate in response to a specific piece of music. There we go. See, the last time we got it was too early. The bomb went off. Eventually, Aichi spotted Kano on the far edge of the crowd. The detective pumped his fist in victory. It looked like he'd gotten Alfred to cough up the password. Finally, some really good news. Now Hitomi and Maria were both safe. A surge of relief ran through Aichi's body. Unexpectedly, his cell phone rang. It was Stanley. Mr. Stanley, what's going on? How did the negotiations go? Aichi quickly filled him in on the good news. Detective caught Alfred. He got him to give up the password, and I think he's called the folks at the lab. Does that mean the case is closed then? No, not yet. Right now, I need you to do exactly as I tell you. For a moment, Aichi's head swam. This isn't over yet. Why? What's going on? If you want to save Hitomi, then shut up and listen, Stanley barked. All right, tell me what to do. First, you need to power down Hitomi's cell phone. Turn off her phone? What for? Was Stanley serious or just messing with him? I'm pretty sure that there's a bomb somewhere near your location. A bomb? Aichi's voice squeaked in falsetto. The guy that Kano just apprehended is a decoy. The real Alfred is planning to eliminate Hitomi and the false Alfred at the same time. Eliminate both Hitomi and his own decoy? Why would he do that? As if the guy just captured was a fake. Then who was the real Alfred? He couldn't wrap his head around it. The more he tried, the more his thoughts became a jumbled mess. Listen, first turn off that cell phone. Go and look for the bomb. Okay, got it. Right now, he just needed to do what Stanley told him to. He didn't have time to make sense of the situation. Hanging up, he called out to Hitomi. Hitomi, you have to turn off your cell phone. She stared back at him, too confused to act. Look, just hurry up and do it. Right, okay. Pulling her phone from her pocket, she switched the power off. Then Aichi turned to Kano's direction. Detective, he shouted. Kano was looking toward him seamlessly, already aware that something was amiss. Detective, that's not the real Alfred, he's a fake. A fake? Kano looked understandably shocked. Yeah, I just got a call from Stanley. Said the real Alfred is planning to get rid of both Hitomi and the fake with some kind of bomb. Kano hurriedly turned back to the fake Alfred and began a fresh barrage of questions. Meanwhile, Aichi's mind was racing again. The bomb was meant to wipe out both Hitomi and the imposter. It would have to be pretty powerful, so it couldn't be anything particularly small. Where could the bomb be hidden then? Aichi scanned the area. but didn't spot any place that seemed plausible. Kano made his way over to Hitomi. Pardon me, miss. I just need to search you real quick. Wait, has Hitomi been planted with a bomb? Aichi, keep an eye on this guy. If he tries anything funny, feel free to punch his lights out. Okay, sure thing. Aichi took up watch over the decoy Alfred. The guy was handcuffed, but he was still a diabolical terrorist. Aichi knew he couldn't let his guard down for a moment. He kept a close eye on the fake, ready to knock him cold at the first sign of mischief. Meanwhile, Kano continued to search Hitomi. Did you buy all the jewelry and accessories you were wearing? Yourself? Yes, most of them. The ring I got from my sister. What about your clothes? Oh, I bought them just this afternoon. The top I was wearing before I got torn. I see. Then as Kano continued to search, he cried out suddenly in realization. Hitomi, you have to give me your cell phone. It's a bomb. Hitomi hurriedly pulled out her cell phone and handed it to Kano. Aichi looked on in alarm as he realized the detective was going to turn the phone on. Stop, don't turn that thing on. Kano froze at Aichi's sudden shout. Why not? The detective quirked a quizzical eyebrow. I don't know, it's just what Stanley said. He told me to make sure her phone stayed off. The blood drained visibly from Kano's face. Quickly pulling out his own cell phone, Kano dialed up the police. He launched into a discussion involving a lot of cop jargon that made no sense to Aichi. But one thing seemed clear, Tomi's phone itself might be the bomb. But wait, Aichi found himself doubting the phone bomb idea. If Hitomi hadn't brought her cell phone with her, what would have happened then? Would that just mean there would be no explosion here? He didn't buy it. Surely Alfred would have thought of a way to eliminate Hitomi and the decoy crook, whether she had her phone on her or not. It was too worrying a prospect to ignore. Aichi waited impatiently for Kano to hang up. Then he asked, well, what do we do? For now, just let me handle this. We don't know when or how this thing might explode. You guys get out of here. Kano set the phone down on the ground and started to put some distance between himself and it. Aichi followed after him, dragging the fake Alfred along. Oh, not again! I knew it, Aichi thought as he lay crumpled on the... How am I getting the bad endings? We were doing good. So it couldn't have been the bomb. Ah. Something else must have exploded instead. It's the last thought Aichi ever had. Bad ending. Mysterious explosion. Let me get right. The bomb explodes. We're supposed to jump right back. Yep. How negotiations go? Detective call Alfred. Yeah, we got him to give him a password. No, not yet. Not right now. I need you to do exactly as I tell you. Listen. Okay, here we go. First, you need to power down Hitomi's cell phone. Turn off her phone. What for? I'm pretty sure that there's a bomb somewhere near your location. We've already seen this dialogue just from Aichi's perspective. Tighten his grip on the steering wheel, his emotions were coming on far strongly for him to keep them in check. Back of his mind, Stanley thought about the last he'd ever seen of Frank. Oh my God, there had been nothing left of his brother beneath the rubble. But a bloodied hand reaching out from beneath the rubble. Even since that day, since that very moment, Jack Stanley had sworn vengeance upon Alfred. He would never forget the rage he felt at having what was left of his family taken from him. Hey Jack, once this is all tidied up, I'm gonna need a drink. Let's you and me have a beer together. Sure, you got it. Stanley sprang into action, leading away the throng of panicking civilians. But all the while, he couldn't help but worry about Frank. We've got almost 30 minutes left. He'll be fine. Backup will definitely be here in time. He did his utmost to reassure himself, but still the doubts were gnawed. When the bomb squad descended upon the area, clad in their protective gear. Explosive ordnance disposed of EOD suits, commonly called bomb suits or blast suits worn during bomb disposal operations to protect the wearer from shock of a blast or from any hurled fragments an explosion may produce, such a suit is, however, wholly inadequate to protect the wearer from a large, powerful explosive, such as several hundred grams of C4 detonated at close range. He shot a look at his watch. Felt the surge relief, only about 15 minutes had passed. There was still plenty of time for them to deactivate the bomb with their liquid nitrogen. Thank God, Frank's going to be alright. He got no chance to relish that thought. Oh! There was an ear-splitting boom as a powerful shockwave shook the area. Stanley whirled back around, staring hard at the place that his brother had been. Nothing remained but a mound of rubble. Later investigation would reveal that the timer on the bomb's exterior had been a mere ruse. The explosive had never linked to a timer at all. Instead, it had been detonated via remote control. Alfred had deceived them by using the visible timer to lure them into a false sense of security. Stanley had managed to save many lives that day, to be sure, but it had come to the cost of his own brother's life. Had he really made the best decisions he could have made? He was still asking himself the same question, over and over, even now. But no matter how much he blamed himself, it wouldn't bring Frank back. If there was one thing he could still do for his brother, it was getting revenge on Alfred with his own hands. Stanley had been in constant pursuit of Alfred ever since. He would stoop to any level for information without remorse. His opponent was someone who would do anything at all to achieve a goal. It only made sense for him to do the same. At some point, he'd stop even hesitating to get his own hands dirty. He would charge headlong into any danger if he sensed Alfred's presence. Even his own life was a price he was willing to pay in the name of vengeance. He could never hope to latch his jaws onto his quarry's throat if he behaved like prey himself. He must be the greater predator. He would cast aside his humanity, would become a blood-stained beast if that improved his chances at the hunt. But the hunt was all that mattered. The pursuit of Alfred had to become his only purpose. So it had been for the past 2 years now. Those years flashed through Stanley's mind in the blink of an eye. As he came back into the moment, he marveled at his own ferocity and at the depth of the wound he had suffered. Arresting her isn't enough. I'll make her pay with her life. I don't sink to her level. I'll never be able to beat her. If I don't sink to her level, If I do get my revenge, what will Frank think? When Stanley pictured his younger brother, it wasn't with a smile on his face. The realization gave him pause, and the end killing Alfred wouldn't bring his brother back. That went without saying, but although he could see now that revenge was an absurd goal, his heart still churned deep and dark with resentment. Finally, the Okashi Pharmaceutical Laboratory came into view. There were two people standing outside the front gate. It was Tateno and the girl who was pretending to be Kanan. Each had a gun drawn on each other. Somehow Stanley had made it in time. He pulled his car up alongside them and reached down into the gun sleeve concealed beside his seat. Pulled out a .44 caliber Desert Eagle, one of the most powerful semi-automatic handguns in the world. A semi-automatic handgun designed by Minnesota-based Magnum Research Incorporated and manufactured by Israeli weapon industry. There are various models chambered for different rounds. The largest, the .50 caliber Action Express 50 AE, is exceptionally powerful by semi-automatic handgun standards. His orders were to apprehend Alfred. A smaller Glock in his shoulder holster might be better suited to that end. Even so, he opted for the Desert Eagle. Getting out of the car, he started pacing toward the young woman. Stanley, Catino glanced over at him, face pale. Stanley gave a silent nod in reply. Could he see the hint of a smile on that girl's face? Probably a smile of overconfidence. Well, her brazenness would get her no further. I got in touch with the others, Stanley said. I told them to turn off Hitomi Osawa's cell phone. I could see her eyes react. I imagine that by now they've also managed to deal with the bomb you planted on your decoy. The young woman remained silent. And of course, they've managed to bypass the lock inside the lab. You know what this means? Your little plan has failed completely. Stanley could see the girl's stare sharpen. He chased Alfred all around the world only to arrive here, at last in this little island nation. It had been a long, long journey, and he'd spent a long time suffering. Now, both the journey and the suffering would be over. We meet at last, Alfred. Ending! All right, boys. We're progressing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. My name is Raven from the Sky. If you enjoyed the episode, drop a like and subscribe to help the channel and the series grow. Take care, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Peace.